northbound coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the campaign battle continues to heat up as Vice President Harris selects a running mate. Plus, we'll also have details on a pair of deadly accidents involving pedestrians in southern Maine. And some local towns will have to find more money if they want to continue ambulance service with Northern Light Health. Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Colson. Emma Smith is off today. We thank you so much for joining us. We'll have those stories and more coming up, including the story of a special place in Winterport where they're making beautiful works out of stained glass. Just a few of the stories we're working on today. But first, to check that forecast, we're keeping a close eye on the remnants of Hurricane Debbie, of course. There's a lot of concern about that as it works its way up the coast towards Maine. It's dumping a lot of rain all along the coast, creating big concerns about flooding. We won't have to worry about that for a few more days, but in the meantime, it looks like we'll have partly cloudy weather. Not really bad at all. For more on what we can expect, let's turn things over to Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Need the proper fit for your new summer footwear? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Alrighty, here we go. Some areas of dense fog greeting us this morning near parts of the Waterville area and a few local spots as well. We'll lose that this morning as we do move forward, as we'll see a good amount of sunshine here across our neck of the woods. For now, we are seeing some clouds and even some rain farther down toward the south as well. We'll push that out of here, and really for the rest of the day, we will be under a partly cloudy sky. Here's a bigger picture as well. A lot of this moisture kind of feeding up from Debbie as well, which is way down toward the south right now. This moisture will be moving away from us, and of course today looking like a nice day for us across our neck of the woods. Will be partly cloudy for us today with a mostly clear sky on the way for us tonight as well. Maybe partly cloudy at times, and even for your Thursday, we'll be looking pretty good. As for the winds, not too bad. Roughly at around 5 miles per hour or so, maybe getting close to 10 miles per hour at times. Notice the winds also behaving themselves tonight, also in the parts of tomorrow. So your forecast for today, upper 70s, partly cloudy, and a southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. Coming up for tonight, mostly clear areas of dense fog possible, lows in the lower 50s, and a light and variable wind. As we move ahead towards tomorrow, a partly cloudy sky with highs in the low 80s, and a southwest breeze at around 5 miles per hour. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, a partly cloudy to even mostly sunny sky at times, with temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you very much, Devin. We'll see you later on. Well, big news on the campaign trail. Vice President Kamala Harris and her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, are now going on a multi-state tour. The two had their first rally together in Philadelphia last night, and the Harris-Walz campaign says it raised $20 million in the hours after Walz was announced as the pick just yesterday. ABC's Perry Russum has more from Washington.
In front of thousands of supporters in Philadelphia, Vice President Kamala Harris for the first time standing side by side with her new running mate Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota.
I couldn't be prouder to be on this ticket and to help Vice President Harris become what we all know is very, very good for us to think about. Next President of the United States of America.
The 60-year-old governor spent 12 years in Congress, served in the Army National Guard, and was a high school social studies teacher, where he was the football coach. Harris says she was looking for a fighter for the middle class.
Coach Walz and I may hail from different corners of our great country, but our values are the same. And we both believe in lifting people up, not knocking them down.
Walz burst onto the national scene last month after calling Trump and Republicans just weird, a line he repeated last night.
You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy and, yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see. That's what you see.
As governor, Walz has been a supporter of paid family leave, universal school breakfast and lunch, and abortion rights. Republicans accuse Walz of not acting fast enough to deploy the National Guard to stop violent protests in Minnesota after the death of George Floyd in 2020. At the time, Walz saying he wanted a plan for how the troops would be used. Former President Trump calls the Harris-Walz ticket the most radical left duo in American history. His running mate J.D. Vance repeating that attack.
My view on it is it just highlights how radical Kamala Harris is.
Walz on a vice presidential debate with Vance.
And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy.
The Harris-Walz ticket now goes on the road, visiting a total of 7 states this week. That includes that stop in Pennsylvania yesterday. Trump and Vance have events scheduled throughout the week. Perry Russom, ABC News, Washington.
Well, meanwhile, political leaders in Maine are reacting to the news of Harris's VP pick. Governor Mills said in a social media post, "My friend and fellow Governor Tim Walz will make an outstanding vice president. A high-ranking military veteran, retired school teacher and football coach, and proud father, Tim is a fighter for the American people. Kamala Harris has made an excellent choice." Meanwhile, the Maine Democratic Party said in a statement Governor Walz is a champion for America's working families, his fellow veterans, and rural communities like the one he grew up in. As a father, former high school football coach, and educator, Governor Walz understands that there is nothing more important than building a future full of opportunities for all Americans. And the Maine Republican Party responded to the news by saying Tim Walz is a far-left D.C. politician who agrees with the Biden-Harris policy agenda. So if Mainers want to keep paying higher costs for groceries and gas, then Walz is someone you can get excited about. Moving on, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg in Maine for the next couple of days, touring projects that are being funded by the Biden-Harris administration's bipartisan infrastructure law. Our Augusta reporter Corey Burchard was there and has more on that tour.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg chose Maine as his 50th and last stop on his Summer of Construction tour.
It's a great honor. We're the 50th, so he saved the best for last.
Secretary Buttigieg toured 2 construction sites for bridges on Interstate 295 in Freeport. He commended the work from Maine Department of Transportation Commissioner Bruce Van Note and his team for innovative new bridge designs.
They've had to really innovate in terms of the bridge design to deal with all the road salt that you really need in order to keep the roads safe, but that was penetrating into the old design structure and accelerating the demise of the old construction.
The Summer of Construction tour touts the administration's work in passing a truly bipartisan, once-in-a-generation infrastructure law.
I don't think we've all really grasped how significant this bipartisan infrastructure bill is. It's really the biggest infrastructure investment in the U.S. since the interstate highway system.
We spent our first year as an administration just working to get this bill passed with help from the leaders you see standing next to me. And then it took a while to get the programs up and get the money moving. What I'm excited is now the dirt is flying.
Secretary Buttigieg adds another reason for the tour is to go find out from the states what work still needs to be done to make it easier to access funds.
We're very much in implementation mode. It's one thing to get the bill passed and the dollars going, but now it's about delivery. And there are a lot of challenges to that. Cost escalation, human capital, supply chains. So we're trying also just to make sure that any bottlenecks or backlogs or red tape that we can clear out of the way, that we're doing so that the dollars turn into literally concrete results as quickly as possible.
It just shows the commitment to the Secretary and the administration to actually get out, boots on the ground, and see how this bipartisan infrastructure law is translating into real improvement.
Secretary Buttigieg will spend his day on Wednesday touring an international marine terminal in Portland and a neighborhood in East Deering. In Freeport, I'm Corey Burchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, authorities are investigating 2 deadly accidents involving pedestrians in southern Maine, including a man who was struck and killed by a vehicle in Falmouth. It happened around 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon on Gray Road. The body of a man was found on the side of the road, but the vehicle that struck him was nowhere in sight. Police later found the vehicle believed to have struck him in a parking lot not far from where that accident happened. They have interviewed the driver, and no charges have been filed at this point. The name of the victim has not been released. Meanwhile, Portland police investigating the death of a man who was struck by a train. It happened in the area of Morrill's Corner near Morrill Street last night. Police say an Amtrak train was traveling from Boston to Brunswick when the unidentified man was struck. Rescuers responded to the scene a little after 8 o'clock last night, but there was nothing that could be done to save the victim. The name of the pedestrian has not been released at this time. Some of Maine's most crucial hospitals will benefit from a $500,000 grant to help improve health care services in rural areas. The money will support critical access hospitals in quality improvement and establish or expand rural emergency medical services. Maine has 16 hospitals designated as critical access facilities around the state. Senators Angus King and Susan Collins announced the grant award, and in a joint statement, they said, quote, as one of the most rural states in the nation, Maine people already face many challenges when accessing affordable quality health care. This grant will help our rural health care systems provide better care and work to ensure we do not lose these critical facilities and services to preventable closures. Well, shellfish harvesting is stopped right now along parts of Maine's coast. It's all because of the recent rainfall and concerns about pollution getting into the water because of runoff. Mal Meyer is in Brunswick with one business that hopes this will all be over soon.
It's a pretty big hit.
On a day like today, Derek Devereaux says Mare Point Oyster Company could be bringing in tens of thousands of oysters, but they're not.
My job has been impacted this week because I haven't been able to handle the little baby oysters, and they are pretty finicky.
The Maine Department of Marine Resources announced the closure on Sunday.
Whenever we receive 2 inches or more of rainfall, we close the impacted area for shellfish harvesting.
The closure spans from Freeport to Harpswell and means you can't dig, take, or possess things like clams, quahogs, oysters, or mussels from the shores, flats, or waters. The concern here is for the potential fecal pollution in runoff.
We wait until that's all cleaned out to ensure that the shellfish are safe for people to eat before we reopen it.
Typically, how long do these last?
It really depends on a few factors. The larger the storm, the more potential runoff and the more potential fecal contamination there can be.
In cases like this, it's expected to be anywhere from 3 to 5 days. Right now, the department goes and runs tests to figure out when it's safe to reopen.
Which causes a delay because you have to process samples in a laboratory. There's a turnaround time on getting that.
But the department is working on reducing that time by leveraging roughly 2 decades of data and analysis to make these decisions.
Farming business and, wild harvesting businesses were kind of at the whim of Mother Nature.
So far, there's only been a few of these closures this year, which the MDMR says is slightly below average.
That was Mal Meyer reporting, and of course it looks like there is more rain on the way later on this week. Well, still to come this morning on Good Morning Maine, Northern Light Health says some local towns will have to cough up more money if they want to maintain emergency ambulance services. We'll have the story coming up. But first, another check of that weather forecast. Today, a partly cloudy day ahead with highs near 78 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, lows dropping down to the low 50s. Tomorrow, another partly cloudy day on the way with highs near 80 degrees. We'll be right back.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
If you've been in an accident with a truck, making the wrong call can be costly. Evidence and witnesses can disappear. You need to stop that from happening. These are some of the most complicated cases for a law firm, but not if you call one that handles truck cases every day. Call a law firm with the resources, experience, and power to go after every dollar you deserve. If you're hurt in a truck accident, call Joe. The law offices of Joe Bornstein.
Tell them you mean business.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Thousands of kids like Grayson and Elliot receive care at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center each year. You can help them by supporting the Summer Classic for Maine kids. This golf tournament will help kids receive care at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center by raising funds to ensure that health care is available today, tomorrow, and in the years ahead. Every dollar raised helps kids get back to the business of being kids. For more information about the tournament and how to register, please visit northernlight.org/forkids.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Several towns say the future of their partnership with Northern Light Health's medical transport is unclear, as the health system recently proposed new rates for its ambulance services. Officials from Northern Light Health say this comes as reimbursements for emergency services are at an all-time low all around the nation. Our Grace Blanchard has the story.
The team at the Northern Light Health Medical Transport has a partnership with many towns in the greater Bangor area that don't have fire-based EMS services. Under the terms of the contract, towns send invoices to Northern Light for each emergency in which a first responder arrives on scene.
Up until this point, that has been relatively manageable, but since the pandemic and everything has become significantly more expensive, we have had more trouble doing that.
In June, Northern Light Health sent a notice to 7 towns, including Eddington, whose town manager shared their letter with us. In the letter, Northern Light Health requests to negotiate a new contract with a per capita fee structure that has a $17 rate, citing economic strains. According to Eddington's town manager, with a population of over 2,000 people, that would tack on at least an additional $30 grand to their budget.
It is one of the lower fees that we were able to come up with because it covered the things that we needed without causing too much of a hardship for the towns.
For towns like Dedham, the notice came 4 days into their fiscal year after they already established a budget. That's according to the Dedham fire chief. He declined to appear on camera, but says they were definitely caught off guard.
Without that financial support, we are unable to respond to the calls that you want. And we don't want to ever have a situation where somebody is sick and they are not getting the care that they need.
Northern Light says reimbursement for ambulance services are at an all-time low, which means they carry the cost of whatever insurance and patients do not pay.
We want to make sure that when you call 911, somebody is there at your door.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
2 different professional development organizations decided to merge their events at the Civic Center in Augusta and to expand their learning possibilities. The Maine Department of Education Annual Summit and the Maine Volunteer Leadership Conference are sharing the Civic Center this week. The summit, which is in its 3rd year, is a networking and continuing education event for educators in the state with over 1,000 attendees. And the Volunteer Leadership Conference is for people in Maine organizations who manage the volunteer workforce in Maine. Representatives from both organizations say it only made sense to combine the conferences.
Schools and school districts are some of the biggest users of volunteers in the state.
It takes a village, right? When it comes to education, it takes a village. So making sure we can connect volunteers with our communities, with our schools. Schools have varying needs depending on the community. So making sure that volunteers are available to support our educators, to support our school staff, and making sure that those supports are then in place for the entire community was something that we really intentionally looked at.
It gives us an opportunity to be seen in their audience, which is huge, and bring our audience in contact with those folks, bringing the community and the schools together in a different way.
The Maine Department of Education Annual Summit will run through Thursday. On August 6, 1945, the U.S. dropped the world's first deployed atomic bomb over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. 3 days later, a second bomb dropped on Nagasaki. The 2 blasts killing an estimated 120,000 people, and tens of thousands later died from radiation exposure. Nearly 80 years later, many gathered in Bangor yesterday to remember and recognize the lasting impacts from those events. The Peace and Justice Center of Eastern Maine, an organization that aims to bring together peace groups, organized Hiroshima Day at the Pierce Park in Bangor. The ceremony included speeches, music, and personal reflections from those who remember the bombings or have family connections to those events.
It felt so good to have people here who brought stories and personal experiences.
She needs 1,000 cranes to protect her from her pains.
Hopefully people, and young people especially, will find another path. There is another path, and it's about choosing to live in peace.
Organizers say as they reflect on the bombings, they are hopeful for a future in which the use of all nuclear weapons is abolished. To learn more about the Peace and Justice Center and their efforts, you can visit our website, foxbangor.com. The Game Loft in Belfast has served as a place of peace for Waldo County young people for 26 years now. But now the nonprofit is looking to the public for help to keep the doors open. Our Doug Banks shares their story.
On the other side of this weathered green door on Main Street in Belfast, there's a sanctuary.
It's a space open to all.
Filled with hundreds of non-electronic games and a functioning kitchen, the Game Loft has been a home away from home in Waldo County for over 26 years.
These youth have a place to come out of their shell. It's just a great thing to see happen.
In June of 2023, founders Ray and Patricia Estabrook announced their retirement. The past 6 months have been challenging, according to Maine Youth Alliance Board Treasurer Mark Bergelin. The board oversees the Game Loft and Mount View School System program, I Know ME.
Realizing the amount of things that Ray and Patricia had and what they had done for the organization was very difficult to put on paper.
The Estabrooks officially retired last month, and with unexpected expenses, van repairs, and executive director leaving within 90 days, the board turned to the nonprofit fundraising platform Give Butter, asking for $75,000 in donations.
It's not something that we wanted to have to do. As soon as we kind of rang the bell of we need support, support started to pour in for us.
The walls of the Game Loft are a reflection of the youth's imagination, and while the nonprofit begins a new chapter, it's their imagination that will carry them forward.
That's the whole reason why we're here, is for them.
The Game Loft will be hosting an event in the fall. To learn more, or if you'd like to donate to the nonprofit, visit our website, foxbangor.com. In Belfast, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Investors will continue to closely monitor the stock market following that massive sell-off this week. One local expert says it is not cause for panic. John Byrne, a financial advisor with Edward Jones, says the sell-off was triggered by concerns about general economic growth. Despite concerns, Byrne says a market correction like this is not out of the ordinary.
It is normal. On average, the S&P 500 sees 3 5% pullbacks per year and 1 10% correction per year. If we go back historically, it's during these times that it's really important as investors to stay true to our longer term strategies and try not to get too caught up in the day-to-day excitement.
Well, Byrne agrees it's likely that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates as soon as September, which could provide some relief to that market. The time now is 8:22. Coming up after the break, we'll hear about a very large shark that has been seen surprising people all along the coast. Plus, the latest on the remnants of Hurricane Debbie as it continues to spur flooding concerns as it makes its slow crawl north. Those stories and more coming up on Maine.
Whether you have a $15,000 fender bender or a surgery case worth $1 million, call the Twos.
I walked away from my car accident with minor injuries, but I called the Twos and they still got me $23,000.
I needed multiple surgeries after my accident with a big truck. I called the Twos, and Lowry & Associates got me $700,000.
Big cases and small, we handle them all. Call us. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Hood is the cottage cheese lovers love. Start with our award-winning country style. It's delicious on its own, or like this. That. Even, sure. Plus, it's got more protein than hummus and less sugar than yogurt. Then there's Hood's flavors. We expertly blend in real fruit or savory herbs for an unbeatable taste combination you can't recreate at home. Now that's cottage cheese. Hood cottage cheese. Always good, always Hood.
Had enough of long lines, empty shelves, and overcrowded megastores? Discover Parody Shop and Save in Brewer, your local culinary oasis in the North Brewer Shopping Center. Revel in fresh produce, pantry must-haves, organic delights, and Aroostook County's beloved products. All affordable and high quality. Can't find an item? We'll special order it. Shop with us today and feel the difference of our family-run, community-focused grocery experience.
Taking the time to savor Thomas's crunchy yet soft bagels.
Thanks, Tom.
It's Tom, actually.
Right, Tom.
Tom. You doing that on purpose?
Tam.
Tam.
How have we got to Tam? Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
I just want to know if I have a crush.
Love is a funny thing.
I'm both threatened and delighted by your brain. She makes me crazy.
That's where it starts.
Weekdays at 4 on Fox 22.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. It's one of the coolest things they've ever seen. That's how some residents of Swans Island are describing the sighting of this very large shark in Toothacre Cove on Swans Island on Monday. Craig Campfield lives on the island and took this video from the shoreline. He says the boat is 22 feet long and the shark is even bigger.
And the young ladies on the boat were trying to kind of corral it out of that bay area, because if, unfortunately, if the tide had gone out, the shark would have been stuck and maybe even stuck on high rock, which would not have been a good thing. So they kind of tried to block it, and the shark was much bigger than the boat.
No need to worry. This story does have a happy ending. After the crew threw bait into the water, the shark followed the boat out of the cove into safer waters. A similar shark was also spotted yesterday in some shallow water in Blue Hill. Witnesses believe it was a basking shark, and it might have been the very same shark. All right, the time now is 8:25. Time to get a full look at our weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Need the proper fit for your new summer footwear? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Alrighty, here we go. Areas of dense fog greeting us this morning near parts of the Waterville area. Also a little bit over in parts of Washington County as well. Everyone else looking pretty good. Just some clouds greeting us this morning, and even a few rain showers along the coast too. We're pushing that out of here. Now the clouds will be getting out of here too, and we'll see a good amount of sunshine today with a few passing clouds. Here's that front right about, and here's some of that moisture also coming up from Debbie as well, which is hanging over the ocean right now, causing a lot of rain along the southeastern parts of the U.S. So let's check in on Debbie right now, which right now is a tropical storm, which is tracking very slowly to the east, and I mean very slowly. It's not moving very quickly at all. Here's the latest advisory with sustained winds at 45 miles per hour. Check out the gusts. The gusty winds are up to 60 miles per hour, moving to the east at a wimpy 5 miles per hour. So it is not moving fast at all. And notice that we do have some advisories along the coast because of the system here that will be making another landfall very soon. So we'll track off towards the north, mainly staying as a tropical storm, eventually a tropical depression, then eventually a remnant low as it tracks off towards the north and east, and it will get close to us as well. We'll just get some rain and maybe some gusty winds from this system, and that'll be about all there. But in the short term, though, we'll be under a partly cloudy sky for us today, looking pretty nice out there. We'll be under a mostly clear sky overnight, maybe some areas of dense fog at times as we head towards tomorrow. Not too bad, a lot of sunshine again, maybe a few passing clouds once we head towards Thursday evening. Still not too bad. Some rain does start to approach late Thursday night into parts of Friday morning as Debbie starts to get a bit closer. So otherwise, rainfall, let's talk about that for a bit. Nothing too crazy going on until about Friday or even into parts of Saturday and Sunday. Notice I run this pretty far. And notice though, as we get this moisture from Debbie, maybe around an inch of rain possible before we're all finished up. And of course, we'll keep an eye on that. Otherwise, our average high temperature is 81 degrees. We'll do upper 70s to lower 80s today and tomorrow. Lower 70s Friday as Debbie passes through. We're back in the mid 70s Saturday, upper 70s Sunday, with middle to upper 70s again Monday and also into your Tuesday. Checking in on the dew points real quick though, and those dew points may be on the rise again with Debbie on the way, with 60 and 70 degree dew points Friday in the parts of Saturday. Then we'll fall back down Sunday and also in the parts of Monday. Your forecast for today, upper 70s, partly cloudy, southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, mostly clear areas of dense fog, lows in the lower 50s and a light and variable wind. Moving ahead for tomorrow, lower 80s, partly cloudy, and a southwest wind roughly at around 5 miles per hour or so. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Rain moves in Friday and again on Saturday. Then we dry out on Sunday. Notice temperatures lower 70s Friday. We're back in the upper 70s for your Sunday.
Angler's Restaurant with 2 locations in Newport and Searsport. Open daily from 11 to 8. We are your home for fresh seafood. Our specialty is scallops, lobster, fish and chips, and of course, lobster rolls. Now, if seafood is not your preference, we offer fan favorites like cheeseburgers and chicken tenders. Stop by for the atmosphere and stay for the incredible dining experience. Anglers, Maine's family seafood restaurant.
Central Maine Barns and Sheds, quality products built right here in Newport with a strong attention to detail. We have an incredible selection of pre-made options and would be more than happy to custom build a unit specifically for you. Central Maine Barns and Sheds has financing options available, including a rent-to-own program. We provide free delivery and setup within a 30-mile radius of any of our locations. Check out our full inventory at centralmainebarns.com or call for more information, 368-6177.
This summer, it's time to get away with super hot deals on your favorite Hyundai models. All backed by America's best warranty. Plus 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. Add more joy to your journey at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. But act fast because these deals will be over before you know it. Get in and get away now.
Lease a Hyundai Elantra for only $159 a month or get 1.99% APR or up to $1,500 bonus cash. Hurry in to the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Orono is more than just a college town. It's an affordable destination. Welcome to the Orono Arcade, where we have both modern and retro games. And for a new experience, check out our 9-hole Blacklight mini golf course. Budget-friendly, fun for the whole family, with 13 restaurants within walking distance. We look forward to seeing you soon at the Orono Arcade.
Now to the flooding emergency. From the deep south to concerns here in the northeast. The remnants of Hurricane Debbie could unleash more than 2 feet of rain, and some fear this could be a 1-in-1,000-year storm. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has more.
This morning, the center of Debbie is now off the southeast coast, where it's expected to stall, dumping another 6 to 10 inches of rain in parts of Georgia and the Carolinas. Rainfall totals of 25 inches now possible from Charleston to Raleigh. Charleston imposing a curfew through 7:30 this morning. Charleston already seeing nearly a foot of rain, with a tornado touching down north of the city.
Here in Moncks Corner, South Carolina, this Arby's was destroyed. All the furniture that was inside, tables, chairs, blown out. There is shattered glass everywhere.
Last night, a cold front triggered severe storms in New York and New Jersey ahead of Debbie's arrival later this week. New York City officials, for the first time, using a drone to transmit emergency weather alerts to residents.
Be prepared to leave your location if flooding occurs. Do not hesitate.
Back in the south, Debbie is blamed for at least 6 deaths, 5 in traffic accidents or from fallen trees. The former hurricane caused widespread damage along Florida's Gulf Coast. The state's largest insurer already requesting another 13% increase in insurance rates. Debbie also knocked out power to hundreds of thousands of customers. The Biden administration yesterday said it's investing more than $2 billion to overhaul the U.S. power grid to better handle extreme weather. Debbie is expected to creep back onshore over South Carolina tomorrow. The storm could dump 8 inches of rain as far north as New England by this weekend. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Well, charges have now been filed in the death of a Milwaukee man restrained by hotel workers on a sidewalk. His death and video from the incident sparking weeks of protests. The family and the medical examiner calling it murder. ABC's Derek Dennis has more.
I just want everyone to be held accountable for what they did to him.
This morning, Deasia Harmon, widow of 43-year-old Devontae Mitchell, saying she's relieved his alleged killers, 4 hotel security guards and staff, have now been charged with murder.
I'm grateful that they're charging them with something. I'm not satisfied. They should have done it a long time ago.
It was back on June 30th when Mitchell was accused of causing a disturbance inside Milwaukee's Hyatt Regency Hotel and was escorted out by security and staff, then pinned face down. The encounter caught on surveillance video.
Stay down! Please stop fighting! Please stay down!
The medical examiner ruled the cause of death a homicide due to restraint asphyxia and toxic effects of cocaine and meth.
Charge the killers! Charge the killers!
Protesters demanding charges for weeks. The family's attorney saying it took far too long.
They murdered somebody on a public sidewalk on video camera while they know that they were being video cameraed.
A statement from the hotel management, Aimbridge Hospitality, says our hearts are with Mr. Mitchell's family and loved ones, adding we have cooperated fully with law enforcement. The hotel workers all fired, arrest warrants now issued.
We all want the same thing. We all want justice for him, but it's something that they should have done already.
And if tried and convicted, those hotel workers each face up to 15 years in prison. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Well, we're learning more about that mid-air nightmare earlier this year when a door panel flew off a plane while flying over Oregon. Boeing, now in the spotlight during a new hearing in Washington, crew members revealing they thought passengers had been sucked out of the plane. The captain not even aware there was a hole in the plane until after landing. Transcripts from Boeing employees questioned by investigators paint a hectic and disorganized picture of Boeing and its supplier, Spirit Aerosystems, describing planes on the factory floor with defects. Boeing says it has made changes to boost safety, including a new design for the part that blew out on that Alaska Airlines flight. A final report on the door panel blowout could take 18 months to complete. And coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll visit a studio in Winterport where stained glass is being turned into beautiful works of art. That and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
AMHG Works LLC, American-made home goods, located at the Rennie's Plaza in Bangor. Come check us out. We're open 7 days a week, featuring artisans, crafters, and manufacturers from across the United States, where everything is meticulously designed with care and pride. We also have a wide selection of pet accessories and treats. Let us be your new favorite store. We look forward to seeing you.
Backed by popular demand, the Lucerne Inn in Dedham presents its amazing Sunday brunch. Join us every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for a culinary experience like no other. Indulge in an exquisite selection of dishes, all while enjoying breathtaking views. Seating is limited, so reservations are recommended, but walk-ins are always welcome. The Lucerne Inn Sunday Brunch, where great food meets a spectacular view. Call today to reserve your spot.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024, and it is also National Lighthouse Day. This special holiday is held in honor of the chain of lighthouses, still in use all along the U.S. coast, that continue to help people navigate through some of the harshest conditions. That's certainly the case here in Maine, where many lighthouses function today, more than a dozen of them, and you'll soon get a chance to see them up close during Maine Open Lighthouse Day, which will take place on September 14th this year. It's a rare opportunity for visitors to climb inside and learn more about Maine's historic lights. All right, time for some history. It was on this day in history back in 1782. George Washington ordered the creation of the first U.S. military decoration called the Badge of Military Merit. It was given to 3 Revolutionary War soldiers and is the equivalent of receiving the Purple Heart today. In 1942, Allied troops landed on Guadalcanal and captured an airfield from Japanese forces. An event that sparked a battle that lasted for 6 months. It was really the biggest battle up to that point in the Pacific during World War II. In 1959, the U.S. launched its first satellite into orbit around the Earth. Explorer 6 was an unmanned spacecraft that sent back the very first photos of the Earth from a U.S. satellite. In 1974, a French high wire artist walked 8 times across the high wire that stretched between the 2 World Trade Center towers more than 1,300 feet above the ground. In 1978, President Jimmy Carter declared a federal health emergency in Love Canal near Niagara Falls, New York. That after authorities discovered the leakage of toxic chemicals buried beneath the community in what was the worst environmental disaster involving chemical waste in U.S. history. And finally, in 2003, actor Arnold Schwarzenegger announced that he would run as a candidate for governor in California. And as we know now, he ended up winning that race. For birthdays today, they include actress Charlize Theron, who is 49 years old today. Singer Bruce Dickinson from the band Iron Maiden is 66. And actor Wayne Knight, who is best known as Newman from Seinfeld, is 69 years old today. All right, we're going to turn things back over to Devin Biggs for another check of the forecast. Looking nice today. A little rain on the way, though. Here's Devin.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Need the proper fit for your new summer footwear? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Alrighty, here we go. Some areas of dense fog greeting us this morning near parts of the Waterville area and a few local spots as well. We'll lose that this morning as we do move forward, as we'll see a good amount of sunshine here across our neck of the woods. For now, we are seeing some clouds and even some rain farther down toward the south as well. We'll push that out of here, and really for the rest of the day, we will be under a partly cloudy sky. Here's a bigger picture as well. A lot of this moisture kind of feeding up from Debbie as well, which is way down toward the south right now. This moisture will be moving away from us, and of course today looking like a nice day for us across our neck of the woods. Will be partly cloudy for us today with a mostly clear sky on the way for us tonight as well. Maybe partly cloudy at times, and even for your Thursday, we'll be looking pretty good. As for the winds, not too bad. Roughly at around 5 miles per hour or so, maybe getting close to 10 miles per hour at times. Notice the winds also behaving themselves tonight, also in the parts of tomorrow. So your forecast for today, upper 70s, partly cloudy, and a southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. Coming up for tonight, mostly clear areas of dense fog possible, lows in the lower 50s, and a light and variable wind. As we move ahead towards tomorrow, a partly cloudy sky with highs in the low 80s, and a southwest breeze at around 5 miles per hour. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, a partly cloudy to even mostly sunny sky at times, with temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Looking pretty nice. Thank you very much, Devin. Well, along the water in Winterport is a brand new, tranquil and color-filled art studio called Glass Feather. It's where stained glass is carefully cut and shaped into beautiful pieces of art that can brighten a room or someone's day. You can also learn how to do stained glass there. Jody Hershey has more.
I was very lucky when I took my first class that I knew this is what I wanted to do the rest of my life.
Heather Burgess is a stained glass artist. She's been working with glass for a decade. Now she has her own studio in Winterport called the Glass Feather.
We do anything from a small sun catcher to a big window piece. Me personally, I do earrings, I do panel work.
Burgess teaches different stained glass classes to the public.
I offer 3 different types of classes. I have a 2.5, a 4-hour, and a 5-hour class. For beginners, you don't need any prior knowledge to take my class. When you take them, you learn everything from A to Z.
She often reminds participants how fragile glass can be.
Don't ever get attached to a certain piece of glass when you're making something. It will break no matter what if you get too attached.
Linda Gardner of Hamden has attended 2 of Burgess's classes.
Oh my gosh, this space is incredible. I mean, the light and the river view is just beautiful. And I love being here.
Burgess says a lot of the pieces that she and others make can be for pure enjoyment or given as gifts.
And that's the key, is if it brings you happiness on the inside, then that's worth making.
The Glass Feather is open Fridays, Saturdays, and Mondays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. To learn more, you can visit theglassfeathercove.com. In Winterport, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And still to come this morning on Good Morning Maine, Tyler Cruz will be here with all the day sports news. Don't go away.
Act now to get an offer you'll love and drive into summer with a Honda CR-V and Accord. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer Event.
We are explorers, hard workers, the jack of all trades. We are Mainers. Maine Quit Link provides free nicotine quit medication, including gum, patches, and lozenges. No insurance needed, no copay, and no cost to Mainers. Because quitting tobacco with a little extra help is more successful than quitting on your own. Quit like a Mainer. Enroll online at mainquitlink.com or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
When Northern Power Wash Company, located in Bangor, wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Northern Power Wash provides outstanding pressure washing, window and gutter cleaning services to Eastern and Central Maine. Call Todd at 881-3680 today for a free estimate.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snow blowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
25 words or less.
Medicine serving.
Dose. Every weekday.
Together with Corbin, you rocked it. You're going home with $10,000.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
Act now to get an offer you'll love on the rugged Honda Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer Event.
The stage is set.
What the heck is that? You guys are all missing the biggest clue.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Training camp is rolling along for Maine football. They are just about 3 weeks out from their first game, and one of the top stories of camp has been the ongoing quarterback competition. Jack Webb has more.
Competition is heating up at Maine football preseason camp. As players battle for starting positions all across the board, perhaps the most intense of those battles is in the quarterback room.
High competition, but just take it a day at a time, and you want to support each other throughout this because at the end of the day, you're on the same team.
After Derek Robertson jumped ship in December, Maine brought in transfer Carter Peavy from Mercer to compete alongside Anthony Harris and Caden Drezick for the starting spot.
They've really all prepared really well, and those are all really consistent guys.
Peavy and Harris are both upperclassmen with very different experiences that give them their own unique advantage. For Peavy, he transferred from Mercer University, where he threw for 21 touchdowns and almost 4,000 yards, while rushing for 16 touchdowns and 543 yards during his 4-year career in his home state of Georgia.
The snaps under the belt, just recognition, big games, couple playoff games, that always helps experience-wise.
Carter's obviously been there, done that, played college football at a high level down at Mercer, and you could see that there's times where he's very poised. He understands when to tuck the ball and run, understands how to go through the progression.
On the flip side, this will be Harris's senior year in the program, and with what he lacks in game experience, he makes up for with program experience. Through his 4 years at Maine, his deeply rooted bonds are what give him an edge in the competition.
Just building those relationships and stuff definitely goes a long way. I mean, knowing everybody in the locker room and knowing the playbook and stuff, I mean, it really helps when you have a grasp on everything. I've been with Ant his whole time here, so there's a great connection between me and him and an understanding of what we're trying to accomplish.
Quarterback is the most important position in team sports, so to try to get a full evaluation, coaches are simulating every situation they can.
We're going through it all, right? They're putting in third down, red zone, normal downs, putting in every single aspect of our offense in terms of different schemes that each of them are running.
With their first game just over 3 weeks away, the Maine staff said they'd like to make a decision sooner rather than later. Reporting from Orono, Jack Webb, ABC 7, Fox 22 Sports.
Thanks for that, Jack. We'll have updates on that competition as they come. Let's stay on the football field now. More drama from Pat's camp. This one, the good kind. The Patriots have been rumored as one of the top landing spots for star wide receiver Brandon Ayuk. Reports out of San Francisco say the 49ers star has requested a trade. That was a while ago and will not practice without a new contract. But on Monday night, it was reported that San Fran has come to terms on trades with both the Patriots and the Cleveland Browns, and Ayuk has permission to negotiate a contract extension with either team and ultimately decide his landing spot. He would be the perfect piece to build around for rookie Drake May. Here's what Gerard Mayo had to say about the situation.
Now, from Elliott and my perspective, we're always trying to get better, no matter what position we're talking about, no matter how those guys get here, whether it's through cuts or through trades or whatever. We're always looking to improve our team and win now.
Let's go to the baseball diamond now. Junior Legion tourney rolling along, semifinal round on Tuesday evening from Mansfield Stadium. First game of the day is the Old Town Orono Twins and the Down East Captains. Captains would strike first in this one. Brody Robertson on third for Chaz Willie, and Willie lines one into the outfield for a base hit. That's going to make it 1-0 Down East. Same inning here, it's Max Worcester at the dish. He rips one into left field. Willie hustling around, he beats a really good throw here from the left fielder. 2-0 Captains to start. Back and forth to start two. Owen Wilson at the dish for the Twins with Caleb Tidwell on, and he rips one into left, and the Twins are on the board. Still close to start the sixth, but the Twins would have a big inning. Tidwell up with the bases loaded, skies one over everyone in left field. That's going to bring in 2 runs, part of a 6-run sixth inning. The Twins win it 12-5. And the final game of the evening, the Trenton Acadians looking to stay unbeaten, taking on the Gray Warriors. First inning, Colin Sullivan up with Evan Haskell at third. He grounds to short, and he is going to beat this throw at first base. It's an infield single and an RBI. 3-0 now, looking to add, but Seth Espling slams the door on the rally with a strikeout to end the frame. 2 runners on now for Trenton. Dawson Curtis up. He lines one into the outfield. Look at Zach Torrey hustling hard into third base here. A nice relay, but it gets away from the third baseman, and he is rewarded with a run. Acadians would go up 6-0, but the Warriors would fight back. Gavin Deemer with the bases loaded shoots one up the middle. That brings in a run. They would get to within 2 to make it 6-4, but some good relief pitching would keep them there. The Acadians advance to the finals unbeaten with a 10-4 win. And that is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Maine Paving is Eastern and Central Maine's go-to for all things paving. Maine Paving specializes in commercial or residential paving, grading, seal coating, and crack filling. And get this, refer someone that schedules a job and receive a $250 Visa gift card. Currently booking for this year.
Players have been winning with the Maine Lottery for 50 years now, and over time, winning has looked a lot different.
Out of sight! I won! No way! Totally won! Booyah! I'm a winner.
And now, with our new 50th anniversary tickets, you could win up to $100,000 in 2024.
I won. This is lit!
Celebrate 50 years of the Maine Lottery. Get your tickets today.
For taking on New England's extreme conditions, Toyota has more hybrid all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive models than any other brand. No wonder Toyota has sold 5 times more hybrids than its nearest competitor, like the 302 horsepower RAV4 Prime plug-in hybrid with up to a 600-mile total driving range. Take on extreme conditions with Toyota's proven hybrid technology. See your New England Toyota dealer, your hybrid all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
She's the apple of his eye.
Ta-da! What do you think?
You look beautiful. And you're grounded.
She may be a tomboy.
You're so lucky you get to be in Junior G.I. Joes. And you're lucky I don't want to get blood on my uniform.
But she's still Daddy's little girl.
Sit down, I want to talk to you for a minute.
This isn't a sex talk, is it? Because I already know more than I'd like to.
Learn all about Eve.
Am I supposed to understand what you mean by that?
On Last Man Standing.
Weekdays at 3 on Fox 22.
Maine Paving is Eastern and Central Maine's go-to for all things paving. Maine Paving specializes in commercial or residential paving, grading, seal coating, and crack filling. And get this, refer someone that schedules a job and receive a $250 Visa gift card. Currently booking for this year.
Despicable Me 4 makes its digital debut, and John Wick gets a new spin-off series. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has those stories and more in the Hollywood Nation.
The Minions Come Home, Five Nights at Freddy's gets an update, and John Wick's universe expands in the Hollywood Nation.
Saying hello.
A John Wick sequel series is in the works. According to Deadline, Lionsgate is developing John Wick Under the High Table, with franchise star Keanu Reeves on board as executive producer. It will pick up immediately after the end of John Wick Chapter 4. Deadline also reports Jenna Ortega may be teaming up with Glenn Powell for a new project. The duo are in talks to co-star in J.J. Abrams' upcoming film. Details about the movie are being kept under wraps. The feature marks Abrams' return to directing since 2019's Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Cameras will soon start rolling on the set of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The sequel to Blumhouse's 2023 box office hit will start production this October. Star Matthew Lillard confirmed the news during an interview on YouTubers JB and Millie's Scooby-Doo channel. The film is expected to be released December 2025. The latest adventure from Universal's popular Tiny Yellow Henchman has arrived for home viewing. Despicable Me 4 is available to rent or own on demand and includes 2 Minion mini-movies, Benny's Birthday and Game Over and Over. The latest installment has earned more than $752 million since its theatrical release July 3rd. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And for a final look at that forecast, let's turn things back over to Devin.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Need the proper fit for your new summer footwear? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Alrighty, here we go. Areas of dense fog greeting us this morning near parts of the Waterville area. Also a little bit over in parts of Washington County as well. Everyone else looking pretty good. Just some clouds greeting us this morning, and even a few rain showers along the coast too. We're pushing that out of here. Now the clouds will be getting out of here too, and we'll see a good amount of sunshine today with a few passing clouds. Here's that front right about, and here's some of that moisture also coming up from Debbie as well, which is hanging over the ocean right now, causing a lot of rain along the southeastern parts of the U.S. So let's check in on Debbie right now, which right now is a tropical storm, which is tracking very slowly to the east, and I mean very slowly. It's not moving very quickly at all. Here's the latest advisory with sustained winds at 45 miles per hour. Check out the gusts. The gusty winds are up to 60 miles per hour, moving to the east at a wimpy 5 miles per hour. So it is not moving fast at all. And notice that we do have some advisories along the coast because of the system here that will be making another landfall very soon. So we'll track off towards the north, mainly staying as a tropical storm, eventually a tropical depression, then eventually a remnant low as it tracks off towards the north and east. And it will get close to us as well. We'll just get some rain and maybe some gusty winds from this system, and that'll be about all there. But in the short term, though, we'll be under a partly cloudy sky for us today, looking pretty nice out there. We'll be under a mostly clear sky overnight, maybe some areas of dense fog at times as we head towards tomorrow. Not too bad, a lot of sunshine again, maybe a few passing clouds once we head towards Thursday evening. Still not too bad. Some rain does start to approach late Thursday night into parts of Friday morning as Debbie starts to get a bit closer. So otherwise, rainfall, let's talk about that for a bit. Nothing too crazy going on until about Friday or even into parts of Saturday and Sunday. Notice I run this pretty far. And notice, though, as we get this moisture from Debbie, maybe around an inch of rain possible before we're all finished up. And of course, we'll keep an eye on that. Otherwise, our average high temperature is 81 degrees. We'll do upper 70s to lower 80s today and tomorrow. Lower 70s Friday as Debbie passes through. We're back in the mid 70s Saturday, upper 70s Sunday, with middle to upper 70s again Monday and also into your Tuesday. Checking in on the dew points real quick, though, and those dew points may be on the rise again with Debbie on the way, with 60 and 70 degree dew points Friday in the parts of Saturday. Then we'll fall back down Sunday and also in the parts of Monday. Your forecast for today, upper 70s, partly cloudy, southwest wind at around 5 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, mostly clear areas of dense fog, lows in the lower 50s and a light and variable wind. Moving ahead for tomorrow, lower 80s, partly cloudy, and a southwest wind roughly at around 5 miles per hour or so. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes and More. Rain moves in Friday and again on Saturday. Then we dry out on Sunday. Notice temperatures lower 70s Friday. We're back in the upper 70s for your Sunday.
Meet Stacy at Sheer Haven in Bangor. Whether you're looking for a total transformation, want to try the newest trend, or just need an expert opinion on hairstyle, Stacy is up for the task. For 15 years with a passion for custom cuts and colors, Stacy makes getting your hair done the perfect experience from start to finish.
If you've been injured and think you can't afford a lawyer, think again.
We don't get paid unless you get paid. We call it the Lowry Guarantee.
They win or it's free.
Just call the twos.
Call 222-2222. Another morning to savor the crunchy nooks and cranny splendor of a Thomas's English muffin.
Tom, which is a nook and which is a cranny?
That's a nook, cranny, 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 nook, cranny. I mean, they should be teaching you this in school. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
You know, we can go into a room and have absolutely nothing in there, nothing on the windows, no color, no character, no tone to a room.
That's, I think, where we're strongest, is being able to help someone envision what's going to go in that window.
And we leave, it's totally transformed into something that the customer wants it to be. We've often been told we make a room look better just by leaving it.
summer is the perfect time to get away with a great deal on your favorite Hyundai models. All backed by America's best warranty, plus 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. Add more joy to your journey. Hurry into the Hyundai Getaway sales event. But act fast. The hottest deals of the summer won't last. Get in and get away now. Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Santa Fe for only $279 a month. Hurry in to the Hyundai Getaway sales event.
Meet Stacy at Sheer Haven in Bangor. Whether you're looking for a total transformation, want to try the newest trend, or just need an expert opinion on hairstyle, Stacy is up for the task. For 15 years with a passion for custom cuts and colors, Stacy makes getting your hair done the perfect experience from start to finish.
A class that offers peace and the opportunity to make a forever friend. Since 2019, the Laughing Frog Yoga Studio in Los Angeles has offered puppy yoga to students, and it's about more than just having a ball with an actual downward dog. These pups are available for adoption as well. Foster mom Julie Moden says so far 58 puppies have gotten a new leash on life thanks to this special yoga event. A great opportunity for people to come and meet some puppies and maybe even bring them home. That's it for now, folks. We thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Today on 25 Words or Less, our talent booker described him as the star of American Auto.